shopping if I have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
You'll give something up.
That's just what I'm wondering is if in this report, if I tell people the cost of it and people are going to automatically write it off, or you think they'll prioritize their budget to have it?
I think
Go ahead.
I think that once women have the first experience with pellets, after that first week,
I agree. Yes, I agree.
2 weeks, months, you're going to say, forget the hair,
Forget something.
mani-pedi, dry cleaners, whatever it is.
I'll
Like
wash the sheets.
I'll wash the sheets. I'll do my, I'll hand wash my clothes. I'll stop buying shoes, whatever it was. I was getting this, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
It just felt good and it made you healthy.
Oh, yes.
It's a health. It's a health.
It's a
thing.
health issue.
It's literally a health issue.
This now becomes a medical need.
Medical need.
But you're talking about $125 a month. Yes. That's a shellac mani-pedi.
Yes.
That's
a mani-pedi.
That's a shellac mani-pedi.
Just
you
give
just
us
have to
one.
space them out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Make it
Every
go a
other
little
week
longer.
for most women, right?
Yeah.
So, you have, and that's the other thing is that, I definitely, especially for this, I really want patients who want this, who have
Right.
problems that need to be solved. This is not a high, this is not a kind of fountain of youth side gig, this is real.
It's not
And
a
so-
one-time deal.
Yeah.
It's not a one-time thing. But once they come in, or once you tell somebody about it, and they come and then they tell the next one, and you have to get it to know what it feels like.
Are you
They
guys
have-
ever?
I'm sorry, they have to experience, like she said, once they experience it the very first time, that price doesn't even matter. Because when I got my first biotin pellet, oh, this is expensive, I have to do this every month. But after that first one, I told myself, I'm not going back. I don't want to go back to feeling what I was feeling at that time. So I don't mind paying what I have to pay. Like they said, you kind of give up some things to compensate for this one.
Give up the cookies.
Yeah.
Give up the, something at the grocery store,
And
whatever.
then if you look at estradiol patches,
Oh, yeah.
when you look at what they're paying copay, I mean, you're paying about $100 a month for 2
Yeah,
patches
I
a
was.
week. That would be a month supply. So really the cost is almost the same. I really honestly, when I first, again, I'm born in academics, so the idea of dealing with money, I was like, oh my God, I can't charge these people that. Like, that's crazy. But when you look at how much they're already paying for their medication, that's crazy. And this is all preventative stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like we're working to get you off of all the other stuff that you're on, to get the boat moving with just this to start with. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, think about all the Tide and Tide Pods and stuff you're not using, the sheets. Those things aren't cheap, those things of Tide and all that stuff.
Do you guys ever get frustrated with the idea that, other women don't know about this? Like, what if you hadn't found this? I mean, isn't that frustrating to think about, like, what life could be if you weren't using some kind of
I know what
treatment?
life was like before I got this, and following the standard medical practice. I tell, anytime I see a woman fanning,
Yes.
I don't have to know her. I'll have a conversation. I mean, I do workshops with teachers all over the place, and I will always see somebody doing this, or they pull out the fan or the little battery-operated fan, and they're fanning. I'll go whisper in their ear, I have something for that, talk to me afterwards. And they may not be in Houston, but I'm telling women wherever I am.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. It's that recognizable to you.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Or somebody asks you why you look good, or why after you played 18 holes you're still okay. Well, I can tell you why. So.
Yeah, my friends that are my age that when they see what I do for a workout, they're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, let me tell you something. Yeah.
Because it hurts, like you had mentioned, like the joint pain.
The joint
pain,
It
yeah,
hurts.
yeah.
I actually just found out about joint pain. My last visit with you, I didn't know that was a part of menopause. And I had been suffering with joint pain for 2 years. And I went to several doctors. And they tested me for everything. They tested me for lupus, they tested me for RA, and they could not find what was causing this. Well, it had been about a year or so that I had gotten my pellet. And the reason why I hadn't gotten my pellet was because I felt good. I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have the hot flashes. I had just lost 40 pounds. So I said, okay, then maybe I'm becoming regular again, So I went about 8 months or so without the pellet. In those 8 months, that's when right before that, my joint pain started. And just my last visit, Dr. Samuels mentions like joint pain is part of menopause. That was, since then, I mean, I haven't had joint pain, but now, yeah, I didn't know that until recently.
How come these other doctors that she goes to, though, how come nobody else is saying, oh, this could be a part of it?
I think I know why.
Why?
Because I'm 37 and they don't think that I'm going through menopause, or they don't know, even though I do tell them, because I mention that to them, they don't believe me. And I've gotten that several times. Well, are you sure you're going through menopause? Who told you you're going through menopause? Who is your doctor? And why did she say that? And they just start questioning me. And I get defensive because I'm like, don't mess with my doctor. She knows what she's talking about. Don't mess with her.
I think doctors don't know about it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of doctors that don't know about it.
Clueless.
Period. Clueless.
I mean,
Never heard of it.
I have a female primary care, and I've been telling her about this for the last probably 3 or 4 years. She moved into this building, and I said, you're in the right place. And I said, you need to go up to the 10th floor and talk to Dr. Samuels. I don't know if she ever came.
She's awesome. Nope. We send patients back and forth now all the time.
Oh, yay!
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's
No,
awesome.
mine was a female, and she did not know one thing about it. And sometimes when you have to fill out something for a surgery or something, and they're asking you what you do, they have no clue what it is.
And they have to be interested. I mean, and there is data, but you have to, you can't, what you were fed at a certain point in your life when you were studying this, med school, maybe residency, right? It evolves. So everyone then silos in their own specialty, right? You're not reading the names. I've had neurosurgeons say to me, oh, well, that estrogen stuff will kill you. And I was like, when have you looked at one study? I didn't say that about your surgery, but that same surgery 25 years ago when I studied neurosurgery was not what you did, right? You are in your lane, I am in my lane. So the least you can do for me and for the women is to shut up and say you don't know. Like, I get it. I don't know. No problem.
That's more helpful.
That's more
than giving
helpful.
bad
Than giving
information.
bad information. And then worse is that they go on the internet, right? And they go on the internet. And of course you always see the bad stories first, right? I can tell, my opinion, my patients are too happy. They're driving, they're getting along with their life. They don't have time to sit on the internet like telling them how wonderful their day is. They are living their day, right? They don't want to talk about it. Like these women are moving, shaking, and taking over the world. They don't have time for this.
Right.
And that's all I want.
They're not going to go write bad reviews.
No, I don't have time.
I'm too happy to write a bad review. You know what? I had bad service.
But I was taught you don't do that. I was taught you tell, if something is good, you may tell one person. If something's not good, you're out there telling everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are busy living our lives. But
Were any of you ever concerned about breast cancer? That's the big one that comes up.
No.
No.
And it's certainly no worse than, couldn't have been any worse than the data surrounding breast cancer using Premarin,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I will say I was.
You were a little concerned.
I was. But we did take the measures, and I did get, I did the BRCA testing. Dr. Samuels sent the referral, and not the referral, we did the testing with you, and everything came back fine. And the reason why I was concerned is because my mother is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. So it runs in my family. But we're monitoring that. And
that was going to be my next question, is if you have to, do you have to keep watching for it?
Yes.
Do you do anything special other than an annual mammogram?
Not unless something may seem a little off, or my lab work comes a little off, then she would address it. But besides that, no. Annual mammograms, and that's another thing I was told, you're not 40, you don't need a mammogram.
Right.
It's crazy.
Huge, right? Because her risk has
family history.
Right. She's got family history, and she's also postmenopausal. So she has the risk of a 52-year-old, right? And so these women need to be screened. So part of that is the genetic testing. The great thing with genetic testing is even if you don't test for a gene, if you have a higher than average risk, those patients are now getting, if you have a TC score of 20% or over, you qualify for a breast MRI. Breast MRI diagnosed breast cancer when stage 0, stage 1. Okay, so it doesn't take away or mitigate the fact that she knows that she's high risk. The difference is that we're looking at it and saying, listen, everybody's gonna get something, right? But we're gonna ride along with you and do the best to screen you. Because had I not given her hormones, is she high risk? Definitively.
Yeah.
The difference is that you're a rat in the cage versus someone who's doing something about it. So it's part and parcel of looking at all of her. Remember I talked about the whole thing that what they need, it's very much personalized, right? And it's very much about kind of, and again, you still may be uncomfortable doing it, that's fine. This is not a definitive, like if you take this, you're never gonna have anything. That's rubbish, right? The breast cancer rate right now is 1 in 8, right? But the difference is if you're higher risk, and we have ways of addressing that. If you now take your hormones, as opposed to the average menopause who is not working out, eating well, right? What decreases that cancer risk the most? You're eating well, you're exercising, you're motivated, you're sexually active, right? You're not depressed. These are the things that are going to change your trajectory, right? More than anything else, right? You can't take hormones and then don't do all that other stuff and expect that, okay, well now I won't get it.
Miracle.
Yeah, but they've got the energy to do it.
To do it.
Not depressed.
To do it.
Yeah.
And
They're
you
more
you make us do lab work.
Yes,
Like
I was just about to say.
we do lab work.
Every year.
So we always know. I have, primary care lab work, but you always do lab work to make sure that I'm getting the right amount and everything is where it needs to be. So,
And we adjust, and I know we talk and adjust based on how I felt the last 13 weeks.
Correct.
So when I come in, how have you been feeling? And I can say my workouts have sucked the last 3 weeks, and we make adjustments, and then we'll follow up. That never happened in traditional gynecology.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
No.
Yeah.
And my grandmother died of breast cancer. My mom takes her hormones. I take testosterone, right? And that had been a huge difference in terms of my 100% mental trajectory, mental focus. There is a definitive difference. This is perimenopause, right? And I'm not pausing for anyone. I'm sorry.
we love it.
Yes. Yeah.
We love being on this ride.
Yep.
All right, you guys did great.
You were awesome. You can make an appointment before you leave.
But I also want to talk to you too about the office and all that other stuff. So. Okay.
Did you want me rolling on all of that?
Patrick,
You've heard that joke before. I was like,
my favorite joke. He likes to give my people heart attacks.
No, very good, ladies.
We didn't talk about libido.
Just
talk about
stay right there.
No, we didn't.
At the top, were you rolling when they were talking about that?
Oh, you were?
About libido?
Yeah.
Or did you start in the middle of it?
I was kind of running around, so I don't think I caught that.
Okay.
If y'all want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I was.
Or did you still have other shots to get anyway?
Huh?
You still have other shots to get anyway?
Yeah. I do. I'd like y'all to continue, please.
Really?
Tell us when you're rolling.
I am.
Okay, you start that. Where I don't even know what question am I starting with?
how did hormones affect your libido, your sexual activity?
It's a jump. I mean, it jump starts you. So you feel more alive. You're definitely going to feel more ready.
Taking the hormones was a jump start because it was
Yeah.
kind of dead before that.
That's a strong word, kind of dead.
We said jump start. I felt like
Well,
it's battery dead.
not going jump start. Let's just say and put it on a high path, high road,
Yeah.
back to where you were when you were in your 20s.
Absolutely.
So whole new
It's a good
meaning,
place to be.
whole new meaning to the experience.
Yeah.
And there are two aspects of that that should be
Yes,
addressed.
there are.
I mean, there's the feel like doing it, and
Yeah.
then there's the
Actual
actual
act of-
execution.
Yeah.
And I think that there sometimes is dissociation, because I think sometimes people get to the point where they feel like it, but then, my vagina's not working
It's
like it needs to.
uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, it's painful, it hurts. They find that they have prolapse or they're having incontinence. So that's when the other part of the practice is important. So we can kind of fix that side of it so that it matches the kind of the way we feel.
And it can hurt relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys noticed a strain on your relationship?
I did, especially me being the age that I am. I'm 37, but like I said, I started at 32, and this started affecting me in my early 30s. You would think that, that's when everyone's in their prime, per se, but that wasn't me. And I did start feeling like there was a wedge. It was a wedge that was being driven between my husband and I. And then when I addressed it, that's when we started, the whole BioT thing and everything came in. And I'm telling you, it's just like, I would never go back to feeling that way, ever. So
mine was never bad, but it wasn't as active as it became once I got on BioT. Much more active.
I would say the same.
And more intense.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
yeah, much more pleasurable, much more intense.
true. Yes.
Big O.
Big O.
Yes.
I say that word? Yeah.
Yeah.
The big O.
Very
That's
intensive.
part of it.
Yeah.
The parts all
Big-
have to work
Yeah.
together
Yeah, they do.
to get there.
Do
That's
you
the
find
thing
though
I know.
that women come in and they maybe want to talk about menopause, but they don't even want to talk about that? Like that is still a shy topic, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
But
you
they
get
have
it
to
out.
be they have to be honest and open.
Correct.
Yeah.
We start asking. I mean, I'm part of that too, is to kind of get you. I need to know everything. I need to know everything, so we have a big plan, right? It's not just you coming and saying I have a problem with orgasm. I want to know everything. I want to know your pelvic floor function. I want to know your guts. I want to know all of it. That's massive questionnaire that we give. So when you're coming in, we have a list of things. All right, you tell me what's number one and what's number two, what's number three, and that's how we're going to prioritize what we're going to deal with when we're going to deal with. But it all has to work together. We can't silo it. And it's part of the reason I ended up going into this menopause. Again, as a surgeon, like you talk to my surgeon friends. We talk to patients, but it's important because that's how you get to the meat of the matter, and it is definitively life changing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Did you guys find it uncomfortable to be that vulnerable at first?
No, because she's so
Really?
She's
No.
amazing.
No,
She makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
made me feel comfortable.
me too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's why we will follow her.
That's
Yes.
yeah.
Wherever she goes. I will bring you.
Yeah. That is why.
Good for you.
It unfortunately, again, no vocabulary. It's all about discernment, and this is how coming into a space like this and feeling like it's really for you, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at my rooms, like I definitely am talking to you before we take your clothes off, right?
Yeah.
We are sitting in those chairs side by side, and we're
Yes.
going to do this first.
Yeah, we
We're
do.
going to get to the bottom of what we're dealing with before we start kind
Yeah,
of.
before you're looking around.
And I think that
Yeah.
was probably
That's
what
better.
surprised me the most on my very first visit is we sat in, and I love that place, we sat in the room and chatted forever. When I got back home, my husband said, well, how'd it go? I said, we talked.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
we talked for
I mean,
half
a
an hour.
friend's day.
Yeah, so it's kind of strange for a doctor's visit.
Yeah,
We
that would
talked.
be weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
normally
different for sure.
You're sitting on the paper.
Yeah, I know.
Because the doctor
Covered
comes
with
in
paper.
and he rolls in or she rolls in and here you go.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Not,
And it's not like that
no.
here.
I will say this, that this is one thing I do love about Dr. Samuels is that she gives you the time. You walk in there and you don't feel rushed. Come on, we're here to do this, boom, boom, boom. She sits down, she asks you questions, she explains stuff to you, and that's what I loved about her.
And you're not doing it in a paper road.
Correct. Correct. And even if I was, I'm still comfortable. And even if I was, I'm still comfortable.
So good.
Yeah. Paper towels off here.
God, then
You have
half
a
the
slip
time
out.
it doesn't-
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that paper thing.
Yeah.
I know, we're going to upgrade, man. We're getting, before we get into the recession.
Well, me, it's usually you just pulling down my golf skirt.
Yeah.
Oh
Because I'm on my
So
way.
like the veterans come in for their pellets, and this one.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I've got
let's go.
to play, and you can't have that big patch of whateverness on the outside because it shows through my golf skirt. So you make it as thin
So she's
as
not,
possible.
she's out of cute. So don't forget.
Yeah. Don't forget.
How much does it hurt?
It doesn't.
Not
It
at all.
doesn't.
Is it uncomfortable?
No.
having
I think
sex?
that, I think the most discomfort I ever had, well, twice. Once, I slung a purse over there and I banged that heavy purse with the laptop in it right into my incision. That hurt. So I carried it on the other side. But beyond that, I think the only other time was before we shifted where we put the pellets, I was doing squats and one started to extrude. Never came out completely, but I was doing squats before I was supposed to be doing squats.
Busted.
I followed those orders.
Busted.
So she said incision. Do you have to cut open?
It's a 1/2 centimeter, and so what you feel is the sticking and the burn of the lidocaine. And then we like to put it in a little bit of a fat, so usually at the top of the butt, so just in a nice little piece of the fat. Problem is that my patients keep losing weight, so I'm
Well, you're like, I'm like,
yeah, I was like, where did you go?
Don't hurt me. These little handles here last time.
All these three of these guys,
Yeah.
they're like,
It's
now before they, used to, that's the part, and now they're happy, and now, the pellets were so easy, because there was all this chunkiness, and now it's
like,
gone. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta find
but
somewhere
no,
to put this thing.
no, it does
But they're
not
It
hurt.
does not hurt.
Yeah.
No.
I'm nervous every single time I come here. And as soon as she's done, it's like, I said, I'm so sorry. I made a big deal out of nothing. But this is every single time for the last 5 years.
We got the violins down now.
Yes. So now I play my violin music and I said, you know what? Dr. Stamps, just give me a minute to relax. Let me calm down and then you can do your thing.
Yeah.
But it's, I
You
mean,
don't even know
3
what-
minutes,
Yeah.
she's done.
Yeah.
I think we timed it.
Yeah.
It was as long as a song.
That's right.
It was 3 minutes and like
3 minutes,
25
we're
seconds
done.
or something like that.
I've never timed it.
Yeah, I
just
think
know
half
it's
of it-
Well, only because I was listening to the song. So she started, she started when the song started and she patched me up. She's like, you're ready, you're done. And the song ended. And that's the only reason why we
timed it.
Yeah.
It's true. I remember that. Yes. But all these three of these women have changed their body composition. And so will you lose weight on pellets? I think you will, but and you have been like, I lost a bunch of weight. Part of me feels that it's the body responding better, but part of me feels that it's that motivation and that drive and that
energy.
confidence. And
It's-
Oh yeah,
so,
they feel good.
Yeah,
They
you feel
so
good
they
and you
wanna do
eat
more.
differently.
Yeah.
And you just,
Yes.
You eat better. I honestly, it was, people have asked, and I said, it was like one day a switch flipped. And it was every day I got on the scale and it was another quarter pound. I mean, it was just this weird, but yes.
That's
it was,
motivating,
That
too,
was
though.
Yes.
motivating, boy. It was
Yeah.
like, you can
You don't
cut out
wanna
the
go eat
chocolate chip
junk.
cookies.
Correct. Correct.
I can't stand to eat junk now. And it's like my body feels good and I want to give it good stuff in it.
Yeah.
So would y'all be able to send us like before and after pictures? and
Yeah,
some
I do.
content?
I like that picture.
no, but thanks
So
for
you have to
asking.
done- because
No.
on the way over here, we were like, what do we show for this story? Like menopause, we need some
That's why I
content.
asked if you had golfing photos or videos.
No, I do. Yeah.
Send me
I'll
what you're comfortable with going on the broadcast.
Okay.
If you want to send before and after photos,
I have
'cause
really
you
good
seem-
fat pictures.
She seems happy with how her
Okay.
after
I'll
has
send
come
you.
40
out.
pounds down.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
do
awesome.
too.
I'm
Yeah.
probably-
Congratulations.
Yeah, can you send me
Thank you.
pictures? Any pictures too? I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of what else we talked about that maybe I could show.
And I have one more question.
Go for it.
And so what is, I guess everybody, we're all different, right? But what would classify as a woman's sexual prime? I mean, would it be
I don't think there is.
50?
I don't think that's-
Would it be 52?
I'm gonna say
Or-
it's 60s.
I was just saying,
There you
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know that I've hit it yet.
Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's. Yeah.
Dang,
It certainly
that's-
hasn't gone downhill, that's for sure.
I'm telling
It had a little
you.
dip
I'm
with
telling
the
you.
pelvis,
Men
but
need
yeah.
to be aware.
Yeah.
And I was rolling on that.
But it's that, and I think a part of it too is that, the issue of, when I talk about sexuality with teenagers, 20, all the way up, this is our biggest orgasmic organ. And from teenagers, my biggest thing is you need to always go into that arena feeling like you're a gladiator with as much confidence as possible.
Yes.
That's how you change the game. That's how you go in there. You go in there and you know what you do. You know what feels good to you, right?
Yes.
You can get some feedback from your partner, but you are very clear on where your borders lie, right? And it happens under your control. And that's a different. When your body's failing you, you are not in control.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've all been there.
You feel less confident because it's not responding. You're doing all the things you did before, but it's not responding the way. And so you get back that confidence. It's a game changer for all of them. It's a game changer.
And what would be a guy's?
A guy's what? Game changer?
No, sexual
Crime?
Crime. Yeah. I mean, in general, what's the classification for that?
There's no real classification. I think it's I think like anything else, when you're confident in yourself, when you feel that you've done what you needed to do and you're where you wanted to be and your trajectory is along where you want it to be, I think that changes how you approach sex and how you approach your partner.
Sure.
I think that's, now when that happens in somebody's life, it's all debatable, right?
different.
Or what makes you feel, I mean, if it means for some men, listen, I want to be CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, then yes, you may not hit your prime until 45 or 55 or 65, right? It just depends on what your criteria is, but I think confidence is an understated but vital portion of that. Because this is an innate function, right? It has nothing to do with our thought processes. It has to do with how we feel. And you don't go out into the wild and, when somebody's interested, you put your chin up and your chest goes, for any dog or monkey or anything else, and we're no different. Right?
Sure.
And not only that, for women, it's part of what attracts you, because this idea of kind of changing your composition and that bringing you confidence is not true. It's something that men and women, they exude when they truly feel confident. And if there's something, it's not
different,
beautiful, it is attractive. It is something that I want to be in that person's space.
Yes.
And so we cannot negate how important confidence is. And
Someone
then we're talking about too that how all this happened, because I reopened with Dr. Sturm. So Dr. Sturm's practice has been here and I've moved in. And so it's just been really very synergistic. And now we have a plastic surgeon in here because once patients start to feel good, then they want to start to look good, right? And so remember we talked about what starts to deteriorate as we age, and a big part of that is our skin. So we need to catch these ladies early and start to intervene on the things that start to tweak, right? Rather than waiting until we're 85 going, okay, now I'm ready to do something about that. No, that's not good. And not only that, we're now feeding the hormone, so your outcomes are going to be, your skin is going to be healthier. What they produce when they do their amazing magic that these two women do, it's going to be a game changer.
It is.
You start losing weight, you have loose skin, it's time to get your tummy tuck and all that stuff. Diastasis, these are all issues that become more apparent once you start to make that shift and you see, and again, what do you want to be when you grow up? You have to know that now. You bug your kids about it all the time, right? Tell them, I want to be an astronaut or whatever. What do you want to look like when you're 85, right? If you want to be crumpled like this, stay like this. It'll happen, right? You want to be walking upright, but you can't start at 84. You have got to start before that transition happens.
Yep.
And there you go.
I know, that's a lot to think about, right? I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but now I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out now.
Well, I think
really
too
great.
it affects a lot of us old moms, starting later in life. Because then, you're running around after kids, you're like, oh my God, I'm old for this. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, Everybody's like, did you have a relaxing Easter weekend? I was like,
Tired.
Straight up. They're energy magnets.
Yes.
Little rascals.
How old are your kids? So we are 11, 10, and almost 8. So 11, 10, 7. Crazy,
Yours is
crazy.
what?
Mine are 31, 32, and 36.
Mine are 46 and 43.